The Articles of Confederation were America's de facto ruling document during the Revolutionary War and its legal ruling document thereafter. Now, the Articles of Confederation, in essence, replicated the home rule system that the colonies had experienced under Britain, whereby each state, colonies under home rule, state under the Articles of Confederation, each state had quite a bit of power over their own affairs, but a national government under the Articles, obviously Britain under Home Rule, had power over trade and defense policy. Now, under the system, there was no national executive and no national judiciary. Each state in this system, as I've said, had quite a lot of power, not only over their internal affairs, so what was happening in each state, but also over what the government at a national level would do. So this is where we start to depart from home rule because we know that under home rule, Parliament had quite a bit of say over what happened in the colonies, whereas here, the states still had a lot of say over what happens at this national level. And to do this, the Articles of Confederation built in a supermajority to get anything done. So 9 out of 13 states would have to agree to pass laws, and a unanimous majority, 13 out of 13, would have to agree to amend the Articles of Confederation. Because the Articles of Confederation had quite a few limits, for example, the national government couldn't mandate states pay taxes, any change to that, any tax law that was passed would actually require an amendment to the Articles of Confederation. So you can see how this really makes it hard to get anything done. In essence, what we've done is we've raised transaction costs. And we've done this in order to lower conformity costs. Most of the times, these two will be at odds. So if you don't want to force everyone to do the same thing, the way to prevent a minority that doesn't want something to be forced to do what the majority wants is to make that majority really big and the minority really small. In other words, make it so that 9 out of 13 states, right, a supermajority would have to agree. That means that a bare or simple majority doesn't have the power to force a lot of people to conform. In essence, what we are doing here is we are forcing fewer people to conform to what the majority wants. So we're lowering conformity costs. We're reducing the risk of people being forced to do something they don't want to do, but we're raising transaction costs in order to do that. And when the articles were being drafted, that seemed like a fair trade-off. But as we will see, it turns out that transaction costs were just too high. It was great that we weren't forcing people to conform, but things just weren't getting done. In essence, what had happened is our coordination costs had just been raised too high. I should say our coordination problems had just been raised too high. It was becoming too difficult to coordinate any action, right? To get 9 out of 13 states to agree. As you can see from this map of the original colonies that became these first 13 states, they're pretty geographically spread out and they had a lot of different interests. So it became very difficult to get them to coordinate their action and do anything. We are going to talk more about this when we talk about the Articles of Confederation after the war and why we ultimately switched from the Articles of Confederation to the Constitution.